G'day, it's Stam here from the Fantasy Grounds forums, and we're going to continue our tutorial sessions on extending the MoreCore rule set. Last session we began work on the NPC character sheet. We were using the Knoll as the example, and you can see where we got up to. We've labelled hit points and armor class and hit dice, and the hit dice, when you add to if you add a NPC to the combat tracker and they don't have hit points specified, they've only got the hit dice, it will calculate the hit points for them. But if they've got hit points specified, it will use that instead. So today we're going to have a look at the to hit armor class 0, which is obviously how the combat system in basic expert D&D works. The first thing I wanted to do was shorten the field for the hit dice text so it was only a similar width to the hit points and AC fields. However, it's a string text and not a number field text, so I can't use the existing definitions for the numbers, and the definitions for that string text are to basically make it as wide as that column is. So we had to do something a little bit different. So the first thing I've done is have a look at what the existing template is called, and it's called string column, and I've gone and looked up the definition for that, and I find that in Core RPG, and you can see I've done a find in files, and I've got an unpacked copy of Core RPG 3.3.6, and I've then duplicated the string column, and I've given it a new name, string column half, and the main thing in here is the anchoring. I've used the anchoring that was introduced, I think, in 3.3.4, where NPC and PC sheets that could be scaled widthwise as well was added, and it uses some funky center anchoring. So that's the new template, string column half, and that will cause the right hand edge of the column to be anchored to the middle of that frame. Then I've adjusted my string column name equals HD, which is the field for my hit dice. I've adjusted that to be string column half instead. Now you can see what that looks like. The field is roughly the same width as hit points. However, if I stretch this wider, the field wider, it will continue to be anchored towards the center of this frame. That's just that's a compromise I'm happy to deal with at this point. If we then continue on, I'm wanting to add another field to the right of hit dice, being our to hit armor class 0. So adding a label with a static text res and a number column, and you can see the template for that is number column right, and the other one is label column right, which means that these are positioned in the right hand half of the frame. I've added a new string in our strings file, NPC label THACO, and you can see the text definition there. When we reload our record NPC now, you can see the new fields. So we now have hit dice on the left and to hit armor class 0 on the right, which is exactly how we want that to look for the moment. The next thing that I decided we should be doing in this rule set is calculating the THACO value automatically. And in BX it's based on the number of hit dice. So I've eventually created this formula, and it basically, the function is called get THACO. It takes the R actor source, and it basically calculates or retrieves the hit dice field from that node entry, and then it does some Lua string matching to pull out the first one or more numbers, and if there are none there, it returns 0, and then the to hit armor class 0 is 20 minus the number of hit dice. So if you're a 1 hit dice monster, your to hit armor class 0 value is 19, and then in line 11 we're setting the value of our THACO field to that derived value. And you can see in our example null now, with the 2d8 hit dice, the THAC0 is automatically calculated at 18. And if I change our null to be a 4 hit dice variant, the THAC0 is now 16. And of course, the lower the number, the better. However, the THAC0 does not increase in a perfectly linear fashion. So for the first 10 levels, your to hit armor class 0 improves at a 1-for-1 rate with your leveling, but between levels 11 and 36, it increases at 1 point for every 2 levels that you go up. So this next formula, where we've now adjusted it, so line 11, if the number of hit dice is greater than or equal to 10, then our THAC0 is derived by 20 minus the number of hit dice plus 10 divided by 2. And if the level is 10 or is less than 10, it's just the simple formula that we calculated earlier. Now, there is actually a further wrinkle to this, in that once your to hit armor class 0 gets down to 2, it actually stays at 2 for a number of progressions. So this formula doesn't really encompass that, and I don't know yet whether we will go down the route of calculating that all the way out, because Basic Expert really only went to about level 10 or 12, something like that. So we'll need to decide on that later on. For the moment, this formula covers the vast majority of cases that we'll be needing it for. And you can see here that with 26d8, the THAC0 is down to 2, and anything higher than that would technically be still valued at a THAC0 of 2 for several more levels due to this additional variant in how the THAC0 improves or doesn't improve. You can see at 68, THAC0 is 14, 18, and that's it for this particular extension. And our next one, we'll hopefully be looking at saving throws. And saving throws is going to be another one that's a little bit curly, and I may have to borrow some code from the 5e rule set, or perhaps Celestian's AD&D rule set. Thank you for joining in, and once again, please share your own extensions, share your creations out there. It doesn't matter if they're a little extension or a big one. It doesn't matter if you think that maybe there's lots of errors in there or it's really not that special. Share them and help each other grow and learn from this experience. And everybody's extension starts somewhere. Everybody's rule set starts small and it continues to grow. So share, contribute to other people's extensions, give people feedback on their extensions, and let's get more people playing more different game systems on Fantasy Grounds.